have that same power to cleanse the dirt of the mind, which can be cleansed by the water. The hate, the greed, the anger, the lust, the hypocrisy, that is removed completely by this knowledge. Water cannot remove that. No matter how much you bathe, wherever you go to bathe, it cannot change the structure of the mind. It changes, it makes you feel different, the body. But the structure of the mind changes with that knowledge. When you bathe in that knowledge of divine bliss, of bhakti, of devotion, when you sing the glories of Prabhu Shri Ram, that changes the mind. He says, Prema bhakti jo barane na jai, soi madhurita susisalatai. He's saying here that loving devotion, which defies all description, represents the sweetness and coolness of that water. When you drink that water, you feel refreshed. If you are thirsty, it removes the thirst. You are lifeless without water. Now that you get water, there is life. That knowledge is like the sweetness and coolness of that water. It enriches you. It cleanses inside. You begin to see things in another dimension. You begin to see purity everywhere. When you look and you saw hate and anger, that is no more in the mind. A certain transformation takes place within yourself. So that what vexed you in the beginning has no effect upon you now, because you have been cleansed of that emotion. The emotions of hate and jealousy and anger no longer spread their wings. That is contained and is removed completely because of that divine knowledge. So when the body was so, sometimes you go somewhere and you see people and you become very annoyed. All the negativities within you come to the fore. But because of that knowledge, there's a certain kind of discipline that you have now acquired, that these things don't affect you. And that was the state of Prabhu Shri Ram, where he was able to remove all dualities. When his father told him, son, you will become king. A few hours later, he said, your kingdom is the forest. That did not affect Shri Ram. The dualities of life never affected him. And that is when you reach that state. When you reach that state of Satchit Anand, these things don't affect you. The Swamis, the great learned sadhus, they are not affected by what takes place. The place could be as hot as what? It could have one mosquito, it could have rain, it could have flood. That don't affect them. They don't complain. Everything that affects them in any positive or negative way is a blessing. My Lord, if I am bitten by things, that is your blessing also. If I don't get food, that is also your blessing. If I get in abundance, it is your blessing, man. They see everything as a blessing. Nothing affects them. And that is when you have this knowledge. When one reaches, that is not an easy thing. That is a special discipline. One has to have a great teacher, a great guru, to inspire you to become that. But Sant Tulsidas is saying, this is your guru also. What I have written here, the pastimes of my beloved Prabhu Shri Ram, his teachings, he says these have the power to transform the mind. That is the power of these teachings. So in this last chaupai before I do, Tulsidas sings. Jai Rama Shri Ram, Jai Rama, Jai Rama, Jai Rama, Jai Rama, Jai Rama. So jalasukit sari sitahoi, Rama Bhagata Jana Jeevan Soi. He says that the rain is beneficial for the rice fields of virtuous deeds. In order that the rice field will flourish, they need the rain. Many of us, Guyana and Trinidad, we know about planting of rice. So you know it requires water. So he says that the rain is beneficial. It has to be. It needs the water for growth. That rain is that knowledge divine. He says, it is life itself to the faithful votaries of Rama. It is life itself. The teaching of Sri Ram is life itself for devotees. Just as the rain is life itself for the rice to come forth, that teachings of Sri Ram is life itself for the devotees. The sadhus, the saints, that is what they live for. They live for that knowledge of the divine. They don't care for anything. Their food, their drink is the teachings of Prabhu Sri Ram. That is what keeps them afloat. He says, Megha Mahigata So Jala Pavan Sakari Sravan Magachale Usuhavan. He's saying, that same holy water, when it drops on the soil of understanding, it flows in volume through the beautiful channel of the airs and collects in the lovely spot called the heart and settles there. In the beginning of the lesson, he said, one of the conditions is the heart, a fathomless depression, which represents the heart. That teaching, when you listen to the sadhus or to the teachers, the gurus, whatever emanates from their lips enters the auditory system, your ears. It gets, as you receive it, the intellect is working on it and picking out the various points. Because when you listen to a lecture, you are thinking at the same time. You're thinking what the man is saying, and you are in your mind, you are thinking about it and working it in your mind. And after some time, that settles into the heart. Those teachings, when you listen, it comes there and it settles. When water settles, what happens? You see the purity on top, and whatever the residue remains at the bottom. He says, I will explain that just now. So he says, Bhadayu Maanas Sutar Tirana Sukhat Sitaruchi Charu Charana. He's saying, having remained there, that is in the heart, for a long time, it becomes clear, agreeable, cool, and refreshing. Look at the words he used. It becomes clear, it becomes agreeable, it becomes cool, it becomes refreshing. It refreshes your body. Because that teaching that you heard and you kept it in your heart, you churned it in your mind, and you see the greatness of that teaching because it enhances your life. So as it rests in the mind, all these teachings crystallizes into something. Certain ideas become crystal clear, and that is what you absorb, and you live by that. When you live by those principles, you have a clear, you have a cool, you have a pure vision of things. Just as that water settles, it's clear, cool, tasty and everything. When this knowledge settles within you and becomes part and parcel of your being, it enhances your life. And that is the nourishment that the saints and sages of Salvus want. They live for that. They live for the teachings of the divine. Not only live for it, they live by that. That becomes part and parcel of their life. And that is the greatest of Sri Rama's teaching. Tulsidas says, listen. Listen attentively. And if possible, correct it. What is there in that to correct? Is there anything you correct in that? That's what Tulsidas says. He says, listen attentively, listen sympathetically, and correct it. There is nothing to go. Who is so brilliant to correct that? And for ages it has been read. Nobody, they still read from it. The greatest professors, the greatest teachers, the greatest poets, all read from it and still carry the message as Sant Tulsidas gave it. Nobody could correct anything. Nobody could replicate another book like that. So it tells of the nobility, of the greatness of that poet Sant Tulsidas. And before he wrote, he made supplications to all living entities. And in the beginning, in this Doha, he says, Sumiri Uma Brikha Ketu. Sumiri is to think deeply, to meditate. Uma is the Divine Mother. Brikha Ketu here refers to Lord Shiva. So his mind was fixed upon Lord Shankara, Mother Parvati. I am now going, my beloved Lord, to write Sri Ramcharit Maanas. Give me the intelligence, give me all that is necessary to write. Because whilst my intentions is noble, he says my wit is small indeed. My capacity to understand and to produce what I want is very limited. Please give me that knowledge. Can I bring my lesson to end with this Doha Sant Tulsidas sings? Tulsidas is saying here, Suti Sundara Sambhadavar Virache Buddhi Vichari. He says, the four most beautiful and noble dialogues that have been cleverly composed. The four most beautiful and noble dialogues that have been cleverly composed, it says, Te Ehipavan Subhat Sabha Sar Ghata Manohara Chari. He says, these are the four lovely ghats of this holy and lovely lake. And what are they? These four places. He said that Ramayana was first narrated in 4 shrines. You have Lord Shankara disseminating this knowledge to Mother Parvati. The same knowledge of Sri Ramcharit Maanas was delivered by Kakbosundaji to Garuji Maharaj. The same composition of Sri Ramcharit Maanas was delivered by Yajnavalkya to Bharadwaj. And on the 4th shrine, Sant Tulsidas, he narrated this to his fellow sadhus. And in each shrine this was read, it brought great enlightenment, great joy, great peace. When Mother Parvati listened, she had certain doubts in her mind. And when she listened to Sri Ramcharit Manas, emanating from the lips of Lord Shankara, she told him, she said, my Lord, I am Christ blessed. I am blessed, first of all, to be in your distinguished company. To be in the company of saints and sages is a special blessing. To be in the company of the holy ones is a special blessing. Secondly, I am extremely blessed to have listened to the glories of Lord Shankara and of Lord Ram emanating from the lips of you, Lord Shankara. They were like moonbeams. Just as the moon comes out in the dark night and brings that brilliance, everybody wants to walk in the moonlight. He says, such was the narration of your glorious katha pertaining to Sri Ram. And thirdly, whatever doubts were within my mind, all these have been cleared up. And this business of going and coming, the Avagaman, birth and death and birth and death, he said, I am relieved from that. That is the power and might of the teachings of Guru Shri. Principal Usiyagwa Ramachandra Bhagavan Ki Jai. To those who have been listening on the World Wide Web, I hope that you have enjoyed this katha this morning. It was a special privilege of mine to bring to you this narration, and I only gave you what I understood, what was within my capacity so to do. As Sant Tulsidas said, the work I'm doing is noble, but my intellect is very poor indeed, and that is my state. It is difficult to bring forth the glorious teachings of this with a limited intellect. But the same vein, I tried my best. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I do appreciate your listening, and thank you very much. Prem se bolo Siyagwa Ramachandra Bhagavan Ki Jai.